Mike, the Lions face the Green Bay Packers twice every year. And I've always thought that was probably the toughest challenge for this defense. But coming in Saturday as an Atlanta Falcons team, that you just look at that roster, and if you're Gunther Cunningham, you've got to be up at night figuring out how to stop these guys. If Tony Gonzalez, their elite tight end, gets 120 yards, that'll be 3 receivers for them for 1,000 yards. Only the 6th time that's ever happened. I mean, they can go a whole bunch of different ways and hurt you.
Well, they really can. I guess the question is, how do you stop them, right? And I guess you don't want it to be the brick wall at the end of the end zone, okay? You want it to be your secondary, your linebackers, and get some pressure on them. I think you found out last week how much they miss Nick Fairley, a good developing young defensive tackle who, unfortunately for the Lions and for him, is on injured reserve. He's not going to play the last 2 weeks. He's not going to be able to finish the season. So, that certainly doesn't help. You've got to get pressure on Matt Ryan, but every quarterback, you've got to do that. Honestly, I think it's tough. I don't know if it's going to be tougher than Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in football, but you've got Roddy White, you've got Tony Gonzalez. You can hand off to Michael Turner, who's not having a great year, but he's still Michael Turner.
9 touchdowns.
He's got 9 touchdowns and almost 800 yards. He hasn't had, the really big year this year, but it's a tough chore.
It's really a tough chore, and just the matchups, I thought, are the real problem for this defense. Who do you put on Tony Gonzalez? I don't think any of these linebackers can guard him. Not sure if a safety can either. Really, that's every team's problem, but you've got Chris Houston, you're pretty confident there. You're probably going to start Jonte Green. I think we're going to learn a lot about Jonte Green this game going against a Julio Jones or one of the elite receivers. I thought with this matchup we were going to see an explosion of points. Before the season, I thought this was going to be one of those games, 44-41 in Green Bay last year, one of those type of games, a shootout. The Lions just don't have the weapons. They're without
Brett
2,
Perriman.
3, 4.
Yeah.
They're without all the weapons. I mean, you've got Megatron, but how do the Lions get the points?
I just say Perriman. I'm sorry. I meant no Brandon Pettigrew. I think Brett Perriman, because I did an interview with
Mike's
Herman
dating
Moore
himself.
last night.
Excuse us.
Well, no one else will date me. Not with this sweater. It's hard to get a date. But no Pettigrew, no Titus Young, no, for whatever his faults were, no Nate Burleson. Those are 3 of your. That's your four receivers. You've got Calvin Johnson and you've got Calvin Johnson. That's the way it is.
It's been pretty good so far, but is it enough to keep up with the Falcons?
Well, it's enough for Calvin Johnson to close in on Jerry Rice's record, but to beat the Falcons, completely different issue.